A green jacket has been awarded at Augusta. We have a strong candidate for knockout of the year, and the juice is still loose even after death. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm Reid Murphy, bringing you these stories and more with the 323's News to Know. Alex Pereira left no doubt he was the true light heavyweight champion in the main event of UFC 300, knocking out Jamal Hill 3 minutes into the first round Saturday night. But the lasting image of UFC 300, one that likely will resonate for years to come, was Max Holloway's last-second knockout of Justin Gaethje for the ceremonial BMF title belt.
Holloway shows some mortality. Look at this. Holloway just told him, stand right here.
Holloway Gaethje was arguably the most anticipated fight on the loaded card, and it not only lived up to the expectations, but surpassed them before a sellout crowd of 20,000 plus that roared over the final seconds and its stunning conclusion.
People always ask me what I do. I sell holy shit moments for a living, right? That was the ultimate holy shit moment of all time. If you were at home, if you were in a bar, or if you were here live tonight, there's no bigger holy shit than that.
Even though Holloway, 26-7 in his career, was well on his way to a victory by decision, two judges, they had him ahead 39-37, the former featherweight champion could have run out the clock. He instead pointed to the floor in the final seconds and traded blows with Gaethje, who's 25-5. It was a tremendous combination of punches from both fighters before the one that sent the now ex-BMF champ to the mat with just 1 second remaining in the 5-round fight.
What's going through your head in that moment that you're like...
This is the moment. This is what BMFs is known for. You know, the baddest mother effer. First of all, I want to change the name to Blessed Man Forever. That's what the belt means when I hold it. Blessed Man Forever. But if that's not a BMF moment, I don't know what is. If the cards was flipped and Justin was up, if he felt like he was up, I knew he would give me that 10-second shot. So he's a bad man, and I don't know if I ever gonna share the octagon with him again. He's a legend, brother. These are the type of fights. This is the type of stuff you do to edge your name in the history books. And I'm just happy that I was the one landing. You know.
The BMF belt is a ceremonial, non-official title that stands for, well, 70s soul singer Isaac Hayes always tells it best.
Bad mother.
Yes, the baddest mother effer in the game title was commissioned for the fight between Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal in 2019, with Masvidal being the first fighter to hold it after defeating Diaz. Both fighters were two of the most charismatic of the UFC and were known to be among the most aggressive and ruthless in the organization. Dana White believed a fight like that deserved to have its own belt. White also announced last night that Conor McGregor, and presumably his butt cheeks from Amazon Prime's Roadhouse, will fight in UFC 303 against Michael Chandler on June 29th in Las Vegas. Also, Islam Makhachev will fight Dustin Poirier at UFC 302 on June 1st in Newark, New Jersey. OJ Simpson's estate executor, Malcolm Laverne, is determined to prevent a $33.5 million payout from a 1997 civil judgment to the families of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman. Simpson died recently at the age of 76 from prostate cancer, and his will, filed in Nevada, names Laverne as executor and places his property in a trust created this year. While the estate's full value is unknown, Nevada law requires court processing for estates over $20,000. Simpson's estate, now undergoing probate, could potentially pay the civil judgment. Despite the family's push for payment, the executor hopes the Goldmans receive nothing. He cites the lack of a court order for payment and his objection to the Goldmans' control over Simpson's canceled book deal If I Did It. Simpson's estate, including his NFL and private pensions, will be distributed per the trust, with beneficiaries receiving $1 if they decide to challenge it. Goldman's father, Fred Goldman, the lead plaintiff, always said the issue was never the money, it was only about holding Simpson responsible, and he said in a statement Thursday that with Simpson's death, the hope for true accountability has ended. With one other chance to provide some help to the world in hopes that Simpson would donate his brain towards the research of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, aka CTE, his remains will actually be cremated, with no plans to donate his brain. His attorney told news outlets plans for the cremation have been signed off on, but the family gave a hard no to multiple calls for Simpson's brain to be donated to CTE research. The links between former NFL players and CTE have been hotly debated over the years, as new data continues to point to a connection. In 2023, the Boston University CTE Center announced that of the 376 former NFL players studied, a startling 345, or nearly 92%, were found to have CTE. The Mayo Clinic describes CTE as a degenerative brain disease that is likely caused by repeated head injuries. It can only be diagnosed posthumously with a brain autopsy. While there are no definitive symptoms of the disease, anger is often associated with those diagnosed. Many had believed over the years that OJ Simpson could be somebody suffering from the disease and would like to see just how badly it has ravaged the brain, and continuing to study how violence can be triggered from CTE, especially in this case of the century. Now, we may never know. Inevitable seems to be the unanimous word used to describe 27-year-old pro golfer Scottie Scheffler's win at the 88th Annual Masters Tournament. After entering Sunday's final round of the 88th Masters at Augusta National Golf Club in a three-way tie for the lead, Scheffler ran away from the other contenders on the second nine to win a second green jacket in 3 years. Scheffler carded a 4-under 68 over the final 18 holes to beat Sweden's Ludvig Åberg by 4 strokes. Until Sunday, Scheffler had only one major championship victory, the 2022 Masters, which might have been the only reason anyone would doubt his status as the game's next generational star. The Texan has been ranked number 1 in the world for more than 80 weeks during his short career. He'd won 8 times on the PGA Tour since February 2022, a stretch that saw him become the first golfer ever to win the Players' Championship in back-to-back years. Scheffler is regarded as perhaps golf's best ball striker since Tiger Woods in his prime, and Scheffler's magical hands around the greens also have drawn comparison to you-know-who. The current world number 1 is the first player to win the Masters twice in a 3-year span since Bubba Watson accomplished the feat in 2012 and 2014. Scheffler was also the number 1 ranked player in the world at the time of his 2022 victory, placing him with Tiger Woods as the only player since the inception of the official world golf rankings to win multiple major championships while world number 1, and is also the 4th youngest player to win multiple green jackets. Congrats to you, Scottie Scheffler. The 2023-2024 NBA regular season has come to an end, and we now know the 6 playoff teams in each conference, as well as the 4 teams vying in the play-in tournament for the final 2 seeds in the Eastern and Western conferences. The Boston Celtics, New York Knicks, Milwaukee Bucks, Cleveland Cavaliers, Orlando Magic, and Indiana Pacers have secured the 6 playoff spots in the East. Meanwhile, the Oklahoma City Thunder, Minnesota Timberwolves, Denver Nuggets, the reigning champs, the Los Angeles Clippers, Dallas Mavericks, and Phoenix Suns will take part in the first round in the West. Now the play-in tournament in the East. Joel Embiid recently returned to the Philadelphia 76ers. They're going to face the Miami Heat, who always get hot around this time. They came in through the play-in tournament last year just pretty much to get to the finals. Can they do it again? Meanwhile, the Chicago Bulls, they're going to take on the Atlanta Hawks. In the West, you got LeBron James with the greatest old man season of all time. Him and the Lakers, they're going to face Zion Williamson and the New Orleans Pelicans. And the Sacramento Kings, light the beam.
Let's light the beam!
Like the beam!
They're going to meet the Golden State Warriors and Steph Curry. Play-in tournament takes place Tuesday through Friday, April 16th through the 19th, and the first round of the 2024 NBA playoffs will begin Saturday, April 20th. Finally, in politics, sorry about that, and an unprecedented media move, 12 news organizations on Sunday urged presumptive presidential candidates Joe Biden and Donald Trump to agree to debates, saying they were a, quote, rich tradition that have been part of every general election campaign since 1976, while Trump, who did not participate in debates for the Republican nomination, has indicated a willingness to take on his 2020 rival. The Democratic president has not committed to debating him again. Although invitations have not been formally issued, the news organization said it was not too early for each campaign to say publicly that it will participate in the 3 presidential and 1 vice presidential forums set by the nonpartisan Commission on Presidential Debates. If there is one thing Americans can agree on during this polarized time, it's that the stakes of this election are exceptionally high, the organization said in a joint statement. Amidst that backdrop, there is simply no substitute for the candidates debating with each other and before the American people their visions for the future of our nation. ABC, CBS, CNN, Fox, PBS, NBC, NPR, and the Associated Press all signed on to the letter. Biden and Trump debated twice in 2020. A third debate was canceled after Trump, then president, tested positive for COVID-19 and would not debate remotely. Asked on March 8th whether he would commit to a debate with Trump, Biden said, quote, "It depends on his behavior." The president was visibly miffed, irked, perturbed, flustered, and malarkey. I don't know what President Biden would say, but he seemed to be all of those by his opponent in the freewheeling first 2020 debate.
He doesn't want
You're a
to answer the
senator.
question.
I'm not going to answer the question
Why
because
would you answer that
because
question?
the question
you want to put a lot of new Supreme Court justice,
the
radical
question-
left.
Will you
Who
shut
is your,
up, man?
Listen, who,
This
We've
is
ended
so
this-
he's going to pack the
unprecedented.
court.
We have
He's not going to give a list.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
The people.
We'll see where we wind up and hope to cover it to a degree here on the 323 Network, as it is a responsible journalistic duty to cover stories that affect all of our lives. But we'll always be here to give you a break with sports coverage and whatever kind of content this is considered.
Hands up, I'm singing my song, the butterfly fly away. Got it in my head like yeah, little bit in my head like yeah.
For the 323, I'm Reid Murphy. Don't forget to subscribe to the 323 Network on YouTube and follow me on all social media at 323Reid, at 323REID. We'll talk to you more soon. Stay safe, everybody.